German police are actually trained to shoot to incapacitate, not to kill.
You know what the speed limit is here, Germany boy?
I didn't really get it yet.
Then why are you driving in my country? Why are you driving if you're not paying attention to the speed limit?
Is it 70?
It's 70 miles an hour, then why are you going 98?
I'll just...
A developing story. Alhambra police and a canine unit take down a suspect, and it's all caught on camera.
Yeah, Gigi Garcia has more on this and the dramatic video. Gigi.
And dramatic is a word, Bob, to describe the video. It was a dramatic end to a dramatic and extremely dangerous pursuit. Take a look.
With the current state of affairs of today's society, I thought it'd be pretty interesting to cover a topic that I've been very passionate about for a while, and just didn't know how to cover. American cop standards versus German cop standards. And yep, you heard that right. How cops in Germany deal with situations versus the good old USA. And we know how they deal with situations. Whether it's training, equipment, or how they deal with the public, it's pretty obvious that there's some pretty striking contrasts. So, sit back, grab a snack, let's get into it. Starting with number 1, training standards. That's something we need to definitely talk about. So American cops, they typically train from 13 to 21 weeks at a police academy. And that's it. Some departments might tack on a few more months of field training, but ultimately, unfortunately, that's pretty much it. So, explains a lot. Now, in Germany, becoming a police officer is more like getting a degree. Their training lasts 2 to 3 years, okay? Yep, years. And yeah, they cover a lot. Law, psychology, sociology, communication skills, you name it. That all being said, they basically come out being mini lawyers by the time they're done with their training. So this explains the calm demeanor when, they approach most situations in Europe. So naturally, this response is probably why they're seen as more reserved and level-headed in 99% of their situations. I mean, I got to experience some of that myself in very, very simple situations where people were getting rowdy in Berlin or Hamburg. The cops were chilling. They're like, hey, as long as you're not breaking any laws, we're not gonna do nothing to you. But in America, if you so much as blink the wrong way, you might be turned into a 6x6-inch design on a t-shirt, okay? So as you can imagine, in the US with shorter training, officers have to rely on more of their instincts and on-the-job training, which definitely creates a little bit of problems when it comes to high-pressure situations, as we've seen in the distant past and the very recent past. This leads into a very, very, very important aspect of the training: use of force and weapons. In the US, police are heavily armed, as you guys know. Even your regular beat cop might have a pistol, taser, baton. I think you get the idea. And SWAT teams, have you seen the SWAT teams? They look like they're ready for a war zone, okay? And we've seen how they treat streamers, especially when it comes to doxing and swatting.
They're clearing rooms. What in the world? I think we're getting swatted.
I'm gonna flash through.
I think we're getting swatted. What in the world?
Put your hands up! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Germans, they're armed too, but guns aren't drawn as often and non-lethal methods are prioritized. For instance, water cannons are still a thing for crowd control. Now ask me what the method is for crowd control in America. Oh, and get this, German police are actually trained to shoot to incapacitate, not to kill. Okay. In the US, the philosophy is to shoot to neutralize the threat. And in that case, they aim for the center mass. And with that being said, you already know how the majority of those situations turn out to be. It's an entirely huge difference in mindset between the two different countries. So with that being said, let's get into this next point because it is very important as it pertains to what we just talked about. And that happens to be interaction with the public. In the US, there's this protect and serve motto, but there's this heavy focus on authority. Cops expect compliance and things will escalate if they don't get it.
Get out of the car!
When he catches up to her, he approaches with his gun drawn. Then things turn really ugly.
Put your hands behind your back!
The officer tries in vain to get handcuffs on the granny.
In Germany, as you can imagine, the vibe is very different. Police tend to be more formal and less confrontational. For example, during high-stakes situations like drug traffic stop, German police officers remain very calm to control the situation, which is honestly admirable because in situations like that in America, they get turned into a firing range in a heartbeat. In the US, even a minor traffic stop like running a red light can feel tense for everybody and warrants a very crazy response from the officer and makes the pedestrian feel like they are in fear for their life, which is why we get a lot of situations where the pedestrians in America are like, hey, whoa, don't kill me. I broke a minor law, but it doesn't mean that I need to lose my life over it. And here's a very interesting tidbit. German police officers are trained to de-escalate situations as much as possible, unlike America where it's more so optional depending on the department. Different departments in America emphasize different levels of de-escalation, but unanimously it's been agreed upon that de-escalation has not been a priority in police departments, unfortunately. The best you'll get is a PowerPoint presentation on why it's not okay to argue with the person you just pulled over, and then we get situations, like this.
This morning, Arkansas State Police are investigating a violent arrest that was caught on camera. According to state police, in the video are 2 Crawford County Sheriff's deputies and a Mulberry police officer. The video appears to show them pinning a man down during an altercation and repeatedly punching and kneeing him to the head and body.
That actually leads into another point that's very important, which is accountability and oversight. In Germany, as you can imagine, there's a lot of oversight. Misconduct, it gets investigated pretty thoroughly. German cops know that their actions will be heavily scrutinized, so they typically keep things in check. In the US, police accountability varies by state and the department. That's very important. Sure, there's internal affairs, but external oversight isn't as strong in some areas. Plus, with police unions, it can be kind of tough to discipline police officers. And the lack of consistency has obviously sparked some very, very interesting debates. So there you have it. American and German police operate very differently. Germany focuses more on long-term training, restraint, and accountability, while the US emphasizes more quick training, assertiveness, and a more militaristic approach. At the end of the day, both systems have their pros and cons. Germany's method fosters more trust, but it might struggle in high crime areas like, Frankfurt or Berlin. The US system handles danger far better than Germany. However, it does struggle in mitigating tension in minor situations, if you know what I mean. And that creates tension with the public, which is how we even got into this conversation in the first place. So, what do you think? Do you think the US should adopt some of Germany's principles when it comes to the police department, maybe in training, de-escalation, things of the sort? Or should Germany loosen up a little bit and treat the dangerous situations a little bit more intensely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Stay safe and thanks for hanging out. See you soon.